Hello, my name is Liam Lafferty and this is my presentation on the pathway I am choosing for MIS next year. I have decided to opt for the traditional MIS route in a dissertation. The reason behind choosing a dissertation is that I believe that it is an exciting opportunity to research an area in which I am interested in. I feel that if I have an extended interest in the topic of my research, it will enable me to fully engage with my work and complete it to the best of my ability. Another thing that has led me in the direction of a dissertation is the freedom you possess in the project as you get to pick the focus of it. The focus of my study will be the impact that gambling advertisements and sponsorships have on the sport consumer. This will include investigating the effects on how these adverts make the consumer react. For example, do the adverts make them feel more inclined to place a bet? Evaluating the different responses of candidates in order to identify trends within the data. This allows me to see if there are certain traits amongst people who are most affected by these types of promotions. Also, I will be looking to assess the impact the stimuli has on younger fans of sport. Does being exposed to this content normalise gambling to the younger fans? What problems could this cause? The primary stakeholders in the field of gambling are the consumers, gambling companies, health service and other welfare providers, and governments and their related agencies that have the responsibility to protect the public. In this case, key stakeholders would also include sports organisations who are affiliated with such gambling sponsors, and media broadcasters who show these types of advertisements. In recent years, there has been a massive influx of gambling sponsors within sport. The impact of gambling advertisements shown during sporting events is increasingly recognised by the international research community as an important public health issue. Therefore, this research will be done to investigate the severity of this issue by aiding to point out the most affected groups. One key author in the research of the impact of gambling sponsorship is Hing, with numerous studies conducted on the subject and gambling as a whole in the last 25 years. In 2013, he said, while several previous studies have examined links between sponsorship and the awareness, uptake and consumption of harmful products, especially tobacco, this paper reports on what appears to be the first empirical study of these issues in the context of gambling sponsorship. The paper goes on to show that such promotions may trigger gambling amongst recovering and problem gamblers. The results show that on average 53% of males indicate they approve of gambling in contrast to 29% female. Men on average spent $912 Australian dollars over a 12-month period in comparison to women with only 179 Australian dollars. This shows that it's a bigger problem in men, so these might be more affected by such advertisements and promotions. He also said that advertising and promotion may have the potential to attract lapsed users of internet gambling or abstinent gamblers into new, exciting and easily accessible online forms. By making more accessible avenues of gambling, it is becoming more likely that the promotions surrounding the industry are becoming more effective and in turn more harmful. The results show that only a small minority of the sample first gambled using the internet, but the majority state that they moved to the online platforms due to the promotions that they saw. This further proves a point that the advertising of gambling influences the consumer to part ways with their money through gambling. While extensive research has taken place in Australia, there is still only a limited understanding of this issue in the United Kingdom. This is one of the biggest gaps in the market, especially because of the popularity of gambling on football and horse racing in the UK, without mentioning the countless other sports available on betting markets in the UK. My research will be contributing to the lack of research around such topics in the UK, By working in line with theories already established in other research, I can show these problems are prominent in the UK and further establish those theories. To conduct my research, I will be creating a survey that will be designed using Qualtrics. Because I will be conducting the research myself, it will allow me to gather primary data. Primary data is data that is collected for the specific research at hand that fits the research problem the best. Due to the lack of research on my topic in the UK, it would be more beneficial to gather primary data as this will be more specific to the focus of my study. This is a lot more time consuming than collecting secondary data. However, it would be more beneficial to use the data that is specific to my topic due to the gap in the market. The use of a survey will also give me access to quantitative data. The results of quantitative data can be generalised on a large scale to the wider target population. This allows me to take the results from my research and generalise the findings of how gambling promotions on sport events affect the whole population and not just my target sample. This is better in my case than qualitative data as that is based on personal experience, so the majority of the people won't be able to relate to my findings if this were used. The sampling method that I will be using to carry out my survey will be convenience sampling. This method is quick and easy, meaning that I will be able to gather results in less time than other methods such as random and stratified sampling, which gives me more time to analyse my findings in order to draw conclusions. It will also give me a greater sample size in a shorter time, as a questionnaire can be administered via email and social media. This means that my findings will have more validity when being generalised to the wider population. In order to analyse my results, I will use the software SPSS. This will allow me to identify similarities and trends within the data produced by the survey. By doing this, I'll be able to identify if certain groups of my sample population are more affected by the exposure to gambling advertisements, and if I can show evidence of said trends, they will be more likely to be accepted when generalised to the wider population.